Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Ben taking a much-deserved vacation. He will be back next Tuesday. So all you Ben Anderson fans, never fear. Ben will be back shortly. But joining us now, our next guest, of course, the radio voice of the Utah Jazz and the subject of a recent Gordon Monson feature column, which I thought was very well done. Our good friend David Locke. Hi, David.
Oh, Jake Scott. How is the world for Jake Scott these days?
Oh, man. Well, it couldn't be better, Kids, summer, lots going on. I did enjoy that column Gordon wrote. Gordon's great. I love Gordon to death, and he's a great writer. But he does features particularly well, and I thought that was good.
Well, it was very nice of him to be interested in the story of Locked On and our 10-year anniversary. So it was nice of him to get it out there and write it. I appreciate it, and thank you.
Speaking of that, we had Drake Toll on earlier in the show, and I asked him what it was.
How did you do? He's incredible because he's hosting a game tonight.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
The animals.
He was all dressed out like it too. He had a loud onesie on. It was hilarious. But I asked him what it was like to work for David Locke, and he said nothing but glowing things. And I was hoping he'd really, say, "Oh man, he's just the worst."
No, we just offered him a big job and he turned it down. So
wow.
That's why he said nice things about me.
Well, he's really good, and he was really
great.
really good with us. Again, Locked On Big 12. Make sure and check it out. But let's start talking Jazz now, David. I've got to admit, I have not caught your podcast this week, but judging by your tweets today, what are people bent out of shape about? What have you stirred up?
Well, I don't know. I did feel like some people are bent out of shape. I thought they were really off kilter where they were bent out of shape. But so what I did this week is a series, if I could arrogantly say, I thought it was quite good. And the idea was these are the things that teams that win in the NBA do. So each day there's been an item that if you look at the data from last year, this is what teams did to win. So Monday was that teams who won last year did not allow you to shoot at the rim and particularly did not allow you to make shots at the rim. The best teams in the league were all elite rim defensive teams. Oklahoma City, Detroit, San Antonio with Victor. Okay, so the question was like, okay, how did the Jazz do that? Day two was that the possession battle is kind of the biggest thing in the NBA. Or shot distribution has quieted to the difference between one team to another a little bit. Now the big difference is really is stealing possession. So you win the turnover battle and you win the rebounding battle. And how do you do that? And if you look, the best teams in the league did it. And I don't think there were any teams that were on the negative side of the turnover on the possession battle that did very well last year. So how do we do that? The third one was that every team that made the playoffs last year was above average in shooting. So are we above average in shooting? And then today was really an interesting one that the top 13 teams in the league last year were all top five in one of the four factors. So the four factors are shooting, rebounding, turnovers, and free throw rate, both offensively and defensively. So 8 categories, 4 in each. And all of the teams in the NBA last year, the top 13 teams that all were in the top 13 records, all were in the top 5 in something. And all the top 17 teams, so any team that had a winning record last year was in the top 6 in one of those 8 categories. So, like, if we think the Jazz are going to win over half their games, they literally have to be a top 5 team, either in shooting, offensive rebounding, not turning the ball over, going to the free throw line, defending the shot, defensive rebounding, forcing turnovers, and not fouling people. Which one is it? And, like, which do we have a possibility of being elite at? And so that was the series of the show of the week. And, I think some of those answers were not easily definable. Therefore, some people determined that my shows were negative. That was not the point. The point is we actually get to talk basketball again. We actually can really analyze and discuss whether we're good enough. And you know what? Like, the other one I would just say, like, FanDuel and Kalshi have both come out with their bets for the year. We're 10th in the West in both of them. Well, okay, like, maybe they're wrong. Like, I saw Gordon wrote a nice piece to, like, bet the over. Maybe they're wrong, but those guys aren't wrong that often. So, like, what are the things we're going to have to do to not win 39 games and be 10th in the Western Conference next year. So I think I laid out the 4 things we have to do, or 4 of the things we have to do.
So I really have problems with looking at lines as predictions because they're not. And here's where I think that people out there are missing is because the public has no idea how good or bad the Jazz actually are. Because the public didn't do what you and I did for the last 4 years and watch how hard they had to actively try to be that bad. So the public has no idea how good or bad the Jazz are going to be. So I have a tough time looking at that as a prediction. And I'm not a gambling man, but I certainly would agree with Gordon and would go with the over there. But after your exercise examining those things, David, tell me where the ceiling is then.
Well, I mean, it's going to depend on, can we figure out a way to deny shots at the rim and find a way to keep Jaren Jackson close to the rim, because Nurk's not really a great rim defender if he's your starting center. Mm-hmm. Or if Jaren Jackson's your starting center, then you're not actually that big anymore. So, you really defensively, we've got to get way better than we have been, right? And I understand we have not been trying, so therefore we're bad defensively. But, how are we doing this? And Nurk is actually not horrific defensively. He's not particularly mobile, but his pick and roll numbers are kind of okay defensively. He's just not very good at defending shots at the rim. Jackson Hayes is all over the map. It's not clear at all. Some years he impacts it, some years he doesn't. And so, that's the first question. If we're going to be better than what people think, we're going to have to find a way to be defensively good at the rim. Last year, Will Hardy's system was really good. It denied people getting to the rim. The only problem is when they got to the rim, they scored every time. We had the worst shooting percent. I think we had the 29th in the league in field goal percentage defense at the rim. So, that's the first one we have to address is, how do we get better defense? The other one that's going to be really interesting to me, and this is probably contrary to what most people think, but when I ran the data, this was my big surprise of the week. We're not that good a shooting team. And I was pretty surprised by that. So, Lowry's okay. The last 2 years, he's actually just been average, but I think he's probably better than that. Deontay was really terrific last year, but in his career, he's still, if last year just eliminates the first 2 years, then fine. But Jaren's kind of below average. Jaren is incredibly variable, has been good some years and really not very good other years. Really huge range of efficiency. Nurk is the least efficient offensive center in the NBA. That's a better way to phrase it. The least efficient. Yeah. Well, he's not the worst offensive center in the NBA. He's the least efficient offensive center in the NBA. He shoots 49%. Centers should shoot 65%. It's really a detriment to your offense. Ace Bailey was not a good shooter last year. Right? Josh Okogie or Cody Williams, who's over our defense, is not a good shooter. So I was really surprised. We really just don't have that knockdown shooter. We'll see whether Bryce or Speed can become that guy. And so I was just a little surprised when I broke it down, we're really going to collectively, and maybe Will Hardy's system will allow this to happen, but we're really going to collectively have to create joint opportunities that get good looks for guys that allow everyone to kind of shoot a little bit above average that makes us a well above average shooting team.
Who, with that in mind then, who will be the starting backcourt, do you think, night one?
I mean, there's one of – I think the starting backcourt is Darren Peterson and Keontae George. I think that's pretty clear. The question is, who's the starting three? Is it Ace Bailey or Lowry Markkanen? And then who's the starting center? Is it Yusuf Nurkic or Jaren Jackson? Right, so I think there's one of two starting lineups. It's Keontae George, Darren Peterson, Ace Bailey, Lowry Markkanen, Jaren Jackson, which I think is our closing lineup of games. Or it's Nurk as the center, and Ace Bailey's coming off the bench. I guess my preference, if I had one, would be to try the Ace Bailey, Lowry Markkanen, and Jaren Jackson and see if they can rebound. And if they can't rebound, then you got to start Nurk.
Well, yeah, because sorry, go ahead. Jaren's below
average rebounder. Lowry's a below average rebounder. Ace is a below average rebounder, I think. We don't know about Darren, and Keontae's a below average rebounder. So that could be a rebounding disaster, and then you're losing that possession battle we talked about.
Yeah, I think the problem, just piggybacking on what exactly you're talking about, is Jaren Jackson Jr. is not a center. Or if you want to call a center or a big, he's not. I put it this way when the Jazz traded for him, and people were saying, "What does this mean for Walker?" Jaren Jackson is way closer to Andre Karolinko than he is Greg Ostertag, right? He's a shot blocker, but he's an off-the-ball shot blocker, and he's much more versatile than he is a big. And if he's a big, the bigs are going to push him around, you know? I mean, it's tough to guard Nikola Jokic on the ball because he's so big and he's so heavy. That's not really Jaren's game. So I don't know how effective the lineup would be with him as a center.
Right, and so now, and we start running through it like he's got to guard Donovan Clingan when we play Portland.
Right.
And he's guarding Watt. You know, that gets to be hard, right? You wear a guy out, and he's not played a lot of games in his career. He's often been injured, and he's often had a problem with foul trouble, so you're probably trying to avoid that a little bit.
Yeah. And that was the
Nurk,
yeah.
You know, what's interesting is, like, I'm not, like, everyone loves Nurk. I love Nurk, too. Nurk does not come out particularly well in my analytics. Because of what we just talked about. Like he doesn't dunk, which most centers dunk, and that's a really highly efficient shot, by the way. And still very important in the league. Like dunks really matter. And he shoots a very, very low percentage around the rim. Like he's one of the least good finishers in the NBA, always has been. And so he doesn't come out great on my metrics for those two reasons. And so it's hard for me on Nurk because, like, yeah, he was great last year, but, you know, it also didn't matter. But I do think you might have to start him because he's such a great rebounder, and the rest of the team is not a very good rebounder. And that skill may be wildly important that he has to really play a lot of minutes for this team for us to be good because we've got to rebound.
Well, to your point, I don't think that Nurk is a starting center in the NBA anymore. I don't think that the Jazz think that. But the bargain with LA, or the game of chicken, if you will, was which team is going to go into the season without a center. And the Jazz said, we have the tolerance to do that, and picked up 2 first-round picks and 2 swaps for their trouble. So, I mean, I don't think Nurk's ideal, no, to your point, but that may be what they have.
You know, I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know if the Jazz wanted to make this bet, but they have now. I'm not sure I can come up with a circumstance where 2 teams have bet further on the poker table on a player than the Lakers and Jazz just did on Walker Kessler. So the Lakers are really betting that Walker emerges into like one of the 5 best centers in the NBA. And indirectly, and I don't think the Jazz wanted to make this bet, but they are now, they're really guessing that Walker stays at like 17th, 18th, and 19th best center in the NBA. And that then the money's an overpay and they get draft picks for him. It's pretty interesting. I'm not sure there's ever been a circumstance with a developing player where an offer sheet's been signed. I mean, that's how I've been searching it, as restricted free agent signings. This young, unestablished, where 2 teams have bet as divergently as the Jazz and the Lakers have on Walker Kessler. Now, the chances are he'll end up being the 11th best center in the NBA, and it'll be right in the middle.
I'm trying to think. That's a good question. Maybe Golden State and the Wizards with Gilbert Arenas way back in the day.
Maybe. When he was a second-round pick, and they grabbed him because the league rules. But the league rules prohibited Gilbert Arenas from being paid by his original drafted team, and that's why he could go to Washington.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Warriors could have paid Gilbert Arenas. I think that was their problem, is that they didn't have any bird rights on him, so they couldn't pay him. So that changes. It's a great call, but I think it changes the dynamic. This is a little bit of like, we could have paid Walker, assuming that, he would take it and stay, and not just do something crazy like just take the qualifying offer and then want to get out as an unrestricted free agent. It's a really interesting. Again, I'm not sure that the Jazz went to the poker table wanting that as their bet, like roulette 27, right? Red 27, but that's what they got now, and it's a really just interesting circumstance to watch.
My question is, what do you think it will work with Walker in LA? And I'll tell you why I maybe have a doubt, because you know pick and roll numbers and all that sort of thing, and how it works, better than I would say better than most, certainly. But Walker has never been a pick and roll lob kind of player, not with the Jazz. He hasn't really done that, and that's what Luka wants. That's why they promised Luka a center. Does he have? I don't know. Can he be a pick and roll big good enough to be what Luka wants?
Great question. He was better his last year. His pick setting used to be on his tippy toes and he'd get bounced around and he wasn't set. And he got a little bit better at doing this in the last year, 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. I think Luka might be so great. Like Daniel Gafford was never a good rolling center until he suddenly played with Luka.
Right.
Like, and I would actually have to go back. It'd be interesting to go back on their NBA Finals team. What was it? Him and Lively?
Yes.
It was Lively that was there,
Mm-hmm.
so he's been hurt. Like, it'd be interesting to go back and look like at other – I'm trying to think of who else Lucas played with in Dallas before those two. It was pretty sparse. That's why they always wanted Rudy Gobert.
Ed Kristaps wasn't that when he was there.
Right, yeah, that didn't work. So, we don't have a comp of, like, what happens after Luka leaves. But it's really interesting because Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic are like two of the three best pick-and-roll guards in the NBA, data-wise. So if they're suddenly not, that's going to be a real indictment on Walker. Keontae's numbers obviously way better last year with Nurk than they were with Walker prior. Is that because Keontae got better? Is that because Nurk's a better pick setter? I don't know the answer to that. That's a great question.
Well, we are playing low-weighting game for LeBron, David. Do you want to weigh in on where you think he ends up?
I'm just upset because I want the schedule, and the schedule's not going to come out if LeBron keeps doing this.
Totally agree.
I mean, it does feel like if he's trying to get a move done, he's trying to go to Cleveland, right? Oh, can I share an interesting conversation with you?
Yes, please do.
This is fascinating. This is like where NBA coaches are awesome. So I was talking with an NBA coach today, and we were talking about Evan Mobley and Chet Holmgren. And he was kind of asking, like, well, why does everyone love them so much? And his theory was that everyone loves them because, like, Rudy Gobert is this, like, incredible defensive center. The minute you put him on the roster, you're top 5 defense, but he doesn't have any offensive skills. And Cat, everyone loves Cat. The minute you put Cat on your team, you're top 5 offense, but he has no defense. And everybody fell in love with Evan Mobley and Chet Holmgren because they were, like, a little bit of each of them. But his point is, like, they're not any of either of them, which is really kind of interesting. Like, Mobley's pretty good defensively, and he's been talked about as Defensive Player of the Year and been really high accolades. But look, I wonder if he really does. Like, Cleveland's not elite defensively, and he's playing next to a center, and his offensive game is like blah, and it's like he's not Cat, right? And he's not Rudy Gobert. And Chet Holmgren's really interesting, but I don't think he's averaged more than 15 points a game yet. And he's really good defensively. He's really long, and he impacts things. And Oklahoma City's defense is great, so maybe it's because of Chet, but maybe not. Like, it's maybe because of their whole package, but I'd give Chet a lot of credit. And he's probably closer to Rudy than a lot of guys, but his offense is kind of meh. Like, it's kind of an interesting – we're in love with these two guys because they're a little bit of each, but they're not one of either. And then we go back to the conversation that we just had that you have to be elite at something to be good in this league. Like, there might be something like these kind of one-way players like Cat and Rudy have gotten really criticized. But gosh, when you're the best in the world at your position at what you do, maybe that's better than being like the 5th best defensive player and the 13th best offensive player.
Oh, I think there's some logic to that. We fall in love with complete guys, and there just aren't that many of them, right? I mean, there's how many. You can pick any position, right? Like how many Joel Embiids, when healthy, are there, or how many Jason Tatums are there? These kind of more complete guys, to your point, and then you misidentify ones that aren't. I'm totally off Chet. I think all of a sudden he's one of the more overpaid players in the league. I thought he was a detriment to them in that series against San Antonio because he doesn't play tough. Answer me this: what position does Chet play?
Right, fair. They clearly think he's a 4 with Isaiah Hartenstein as the 5. The same thing Evan Mobley's a 4 with Jared Allen as the 5.
Right. So
pretty interesting. I mean, Chet obviously had a terrible playoff. and really wilted against Victor. So we'll see. And I think let's give him some development. I thought he's always played really hard, but he is a string bean, and he is there's a chance that he's just he's not elite. Like Evan Mobley, we keep waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. It's really good, but okay, let's see.
Yeah, he's not there. Not even close.
Right.
Yeah. David, we really appreciate you jumping on. Ben's missing out, so thank you for coming on with us. And you know what? I'll catch up on my Locked On Jazz podcast. I'll find out what all the fuss was about.
Well, you can text me and let me know whether you think those were negative podcasts or addressing real-life issues of how freaking hard it is to win in the NBA.
All right, I've got a project over the long weekend. No problem.
Okay, see you, my friend.
All right, see you, David. Thank you very much.
Bye.
There you go. That's the one and only David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz. Nice enough to jump on with us and break it down a little bit. Interesting points talking about Mobley and Chet Holmgren. I can certainly see what he's getting at. And yeah, not everybody in the NBA can be the world's most complete player. So where is the value? And if you are kind of a do-it-all type guy, you still have to be good at it. You can't just do everything kind of mediocre.
Right. And that's the give and take.
I suppose. But yeah, I'm off Chester for sure. Chet, soft, string beanie, overpaid. Although I'll give Oklahoma City a lot of credit for kind of massaging things where the only person that they lost really is Lou Dort. And I like Lou Dort, but if, the salary situation they were looking at to only come out minus Lou Dort, that's pretty good moves.
Yeah.
But anyway, shout out to David Locke. Thanks to him for jumping on with us and checked out his Locked On Jazz episodes. We'll have more Jake and Ben coming up next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. No Ben today. He is on vacation. He will be back coming up next week, so we hope he's off having a good time. Off on the Great American Road Trip. Pack the family into the family truckster and head out and hit the road. Do you know what that reference is to family truckster, Christian?
What do you think?
I'm guessing no.
No.
But it would be.
What is it? Enlighten me.
It's from the vacation movies. You ever seen Vacation?
Okay. I've seen
National Lampoon's Vacation.
I've seen Christmas Vacation. I've seen Vegas Vacation.
The family that's from the OG Vacation, which is worth
Is Chevy Chase in that one?
He and Beverly D'Angelo are in all of them, and then
Okay.
the kids always change, which is kind of funny. You've seen Christmas Vacation and
Vegas.
which one do you like better?
I mean, Christmas is a classic.
Christmas it's the best vacation, but
Yeah.
Vegas is underrated.
It's funny.
You should see the original. The original is great. I love it that coming into the segment, Christian's like, "Is anything going on page 6?" No, it's a slow day on page 6. Although, does this do anything for you, Christian? Phil Mickelson's wife, Amy, was spotted out in public without her wedding ring.
Now that's juicy.
Yeah. She's, let's see, she went on a grocery store run and was photographed, and there is not a wedding ring on the finger. Do you read into that? Are you the type of person that thinks, okay, they're done? Because
Yes.
remember, Phil's been in the news. Well, it seems like he's been in the news for the wrong reasons for a while now, but most recently about maybe being unfaithful while the cart dogs, the workers at the country club are driving his phone around the course, so Amy thinks he's golfing.
That is a story. She can see his location. Right?
Yeah.
So he would allegedly give his phone to the cart dude and say, "Hey, drive this thing around for a little while.
Here's $100. Drive this around for the next
and I'm
couple hours.
gonna go do
I'm gonna
whatever.
go socialize.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now she's seen without a wedding.
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, this woman is a celebrity, or she's married to one, at the very least. So she understands the public image of things and how that looks amidst this saga. So 1,000%. That is, there were never any pictures of Jen Vrabel with no wedding ring.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing. I forget my wedding ring all the time.
As do I.
I do not have my wedding ring on right now, for example.
I forgot mine yesterday.
Now, if this were some sort of official where she was, photographed for like attending an event or something like that.
Right.
I
Like that?
I would certainly read into it, but just a dash to the grocery store?
Who's to say she even needed groceries?
What does that mean?
I think she was like, oh, I'm going to go out in public with no wedding ring on. I'm going to make it look like I'm running the grocery store, and I'm going to, on purpose, forget my wedding ring at home.
Okay.
Right?
So because why is the paparazzi there at the grocery store? That's a good point. Probably because she alerted them that she was going to be there at the grocery store.
Or she just knows that every move is being watched.
Okay. So going to send that message.
But to your point, I mean, you and I are not involved in very public scandals involving our significant other.
No.
So, there are lots of days where a lot of people forget their wedding rings for whatever reason. But she knows what she's doing.
I do feel bad for this woman.
Yeah.
She's not only is she's a Utah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
a little bit of J.J. Watt thing going on.
She's from Sandy, I think. I can't remember. I think her dad either listens or used to listen or something along those lines.
Really?
But yes, she's from here. So I'm cheering for her in this situation.
But yeah, dude,
Utah pride.
That is a crummy move.
But yeah, she probably should move on though. He seems like he's spiraling quite rapidly. We talked about whose fall from grace or whatever was more spectacular, Phil's or Tiger's, or more egregious, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of the last positive thing that I've heard associated with Phil Mickelson's name. It seems like every headline he's in has been negative over the last 5 years plus.
And now Live Tour is going out of business.
Including Live, yeah.
Yeah, Live is going out of business in this big revolution. I mean, he did make it better for PGA players. This, say what you will about this Live thing, but the PGA Tour did make adjustments and, did some things that those golfers, including Phil Mickelson, wanted to do. So maybe you can say that Phil's effort was worthwhile and he was doing it for others. But I don't know. But yeah, you're right. I mean, since he won the PGA Championship out of the blue, what was that, 5 years ago, 4 years ago? He has been in the news for the worst, most unpopular reasons, and now his messy personal life is boiling over even more than it did before, which is hard to fathom considering his gambling habit got him wrapped up in an SEC investigation, which is really something.
So I do like this move from Amy. I think it's a power move.
You think
frankly.
it is?
Yeah.
It's a flex.
I'm looking at the pictures right now. She didn't need groceries. She's wearing a Louis Vuitton purse. She didn't need groceries.
Wait just a minute here. How do you know what kind of purse it is?
I'm looking at the photos from TMZ.
You could just identify a Louis Vuitton, right?
Well, it's got the big LV.
Looking at the pictures, I don't pay attention to any of that. You do?
Yeah, she didn't need groceries.
So if it were some sort of Target brand purse, you would think it's legit?
Well, just in the sense that her bringing out the Louis Vuitton purse kind of plays into it being a power move.
Being a little staged, being a little bit...
in a good way. I mean, this
flex.
is her telling her side of the story, letting Phil know, like, hey, you're not going to get rid of me.
She needs to be spotted out on a date. That's what needs to happen.
That could be the next move.
The next move.
After the split becomes official.
She has to pick somebody famous, though. And from the world of golf. That would be even a bigger flex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She needs to show up on a date with Ricky Fowler.
Okay. I don't know many single golfers.
I have no idea.
All of the golfers I think of off the top of my head are kind of notorious family men.
I have no idea what Ricky's marital status
Rory
is.
was almost single there for a second, but that seems to have been
But
resolved.
Phil didn't care about marital status when he was showing those pictures
That's
around,
true.
right? To that
Right.
that one golfer's wife who just got up to go to the John or something, and Phil's showing her inappropriate pictures.
Well, he seems to be the outlier
Yeah.
as far as caring about that.
Caring about marital status. Well, anyway, I don't know how much longer he's going to be married. So we are reading into this. Christian's gotten to the bottom of it. Amy Mickelson showing up sans wedding ring to get fictional groceries means that she's leaving him, or at least threatening to leave him.
She's holding a Trader Joe's bag. Her daughter was with her.
All right. So there you go. That's basically the latest in the gossip world. That does have a sports tie to it.
This line from the TMZ article. Amy and Amanda even hugged before they put their groceries in the back of her luxury SUV.
Oh, that seals it. She's leaving him. She's basically already left him. It was the hug.
But again, that's how you know it's staged. That's how you know this is put on, right?
Yeah. Well, Phil better hire an attorney. I'm sure he's got he knows plenty of them. Yeah, it's been a rough few months for Phil getting ejected from country clubs. Do you know how bad your behavior has to be if you're a big a golf celebrity as Phil Mickelson is to get ejected from a country club? Do you know how much money those country clubs make selling country club memberships by saying, "Oh, Phil
Mickelson golfs here.
Phil's a member here." Are you kidding? So you know how much money they're costing themselves by ejecting Phil Mickelson? Your behavior has to be absolutely awful.
Yeah, that would be like DJ getting banned from the Delta Center.
Okay.
You know?
I don't know why you have to drag DJ through the mud, but
I'm
yeah,
just
good
thinking
point.
of the biggest celebrity we have here on the station, yeah.
Oh, well, that's David James by a mile.
Right.
Yeah.
Not that DJ would ever do anything to
No,
get banned,
but his behavior would have to be just awful to get permanently banned from the Delta Center.
And that's
yes.
what Phil has done to himself.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Anyway, so there you go. That's the latest in the gossip world. We hope the best for the Mickelson family, whatever that outcome may be.
I don't know if I hope the best for her. At this point, I'm not on Phil's side.
You're
at
not
all.
cheering for Phil?
Why would I?
Now, maybe you're too young for this, but were you ever Team Phil? I guess you're
I'm
not
too young
really.
for that, no.
You're not really a golf fan either.
No, and yeah, Phil was definitely before me.
Because Tiger was the dominant one, but Phil was the popular one. He was the one in that era of golf. He was the one everybody kind of loved and cheered for, whereas Tiger was more the dominant robot type of golfer who you cheered for if you always cheered for the famous front runner. But Phil was like the lovable, popular one. And, well, it turns out that neither one of them really have great behavior. Not in their personal lives, anyway. Yikes. All right, there you go. Amy Mickelson, spotted. Sans wedding ring. We'll have the audio vault coming up right around the corner. Stay tuned. It's Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Yeah, I was just talking to the president.
No crazy soundbite slips past these guys.
I came here for the same reason people go to the zoo.
This is another edition of the Audio Vault with Jake and Ben. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Ben on vacation. He will be back coming up next week, so stay tuned for that. Right now it is time for the Audio Vault, the best sound of the day. Today's selection comes courtesy of Christian, who found this video, and I have not heard it yet, so I'm looking forward to hearing it. But you want to set this up, Christian? There's a grizzly bear on top of a power pole?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure on what state this is in. That's pretty limiting because aren't too many grizzly bears roaming free in the United States. But this family appears to be driving down the road, and there's like an electrical pole, with the power lines running past it, and there's a grizzly bear on top of it. And this
is the 911
The man calls 911.
All right.
No, I'm on Highway 56.
Are you calling about a bear?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, it's on the power pole.
Yeah, it's alive.
Yes. Just leave it be.
Okay.
And because I already called the Game and Fish, and they said there's nothing that they could do. They could go and shoot
All right. And it is just that. It is a bear on a power pole. So what, they're just going to leave it up there to starve?
Unfortunately, I think he did pass away. I think he did die.
Falling or starving?
I think he fell.
That's rough. I don't know how he got up there in the first place. It is the darndest thing.
It's crazy. It looks like it's AI, but it's not.
My daughter asked me that the other day. She said, can bears climb trees? As if she's going through the scenario that we all do on if I were running from a bear, what would I do? And the answer to that is yes. Yes, they can climb trees. So the answer to that is make sure if you're off in the woods to go with a slower friend.
You don't have to be the fastest in the class. You just have to be faster than your friend.
Than the slowest person in the class. Yeah, that's exactly right. So always go camping with somebody who's maybe a little less fleet of foot, maybe an elderly person or somebody who's a tad bit overweight.
The bear was ultimately electrocuted.
Yikes, really? Well,
This was in New Mexico.
What a bright, sunny audio vault today.
Yeah, sorry. Well, yeah.
Then it's probably not a grizzly bear if it's in New Mexico, right?
I guess so. I mean, this is a pretty big bear.
Have you ever seen a bear in the wild?
I have, actually. I've seen a black bear.
What'd you do?
Kept driving.
Oh, you were in the car?
Yeah.
My brother lives in the mountains, and they had a bear come through, and I can't remember. It did something like broke into the garage below their apartment or whatever. But
oh, really?
Yeah.
So he had like a run-in.
He had like an issue with.
I'll
a bear.
tell you, the scariest animal I've seen in person is a moose. You ever seen a moose up close?
Uh-huh.
Way bigger. Like you think they're big, then you see one even bigger than you thought.
I was at a Boy Scout camp when I was a young person, and there was this kid. His name was Jason. He got up in the morning. He walked to the outhouse and then came running back to camp screaming. And what had happened was there was a big moose in the outhouse, and he walked right around the corner and was right next to that moose. And then came running out screaming. And then the moose came out sauntering after.
Scary.
Yeah, they're not particularly nice, temperamented creatures either, right?
No.
You going to make your kid camp on the ground? I had this discussion with him. Maybe it was Ben.
It was Ben, yeah. Yes.
To have that experience?
Well, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, you're going camping. You're not staying in a 5-star hotel.
Well, are you going to be staying in the hotel, though, while he camps?
No, I don't mind sleeping on the floor of the tent.
Oh, I sure do.
I know you do.
I'll be here at the Hilton, and you can be camping somewhere else.
Like, can you have an air mattress? Does that count? Or is that still...
Not an air mattress.
Okay.
But it has to have a mat. You can have a mat, but not an air mattress.
Yeah. No, that's fun. That's part of camping.
So that's what you're going to do? I still haven't. I've been promising to take my kids camping, and I still haven't done it.
Yeah. Take them up Manaway. Nice campgrounds up there.
Indeed. You've told me I need to do it. I need to just bite the bullet and do it. My wife takes my kids on these fun mom-daughter kind of trips, and I thought, I'll take my kids camping. But then I have to think, do I really want to go camping?
The idea of camping is always more fun than actually camping.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you get in the tent and you're cold and you start hearing noises in the wilderness and you're like, okay, what time is it? How much longer do I have until the sun comes up?
And everything's a lot more work than you think.
Right.
And the sun goes down, and then you think to yourself, well, what are we going to do now?
It's always more expensive than you'd think. You've got to buy all the supplies, all the food. You think it's going to be a nice, cheap activity.
And then it's not. But no, it's a rite of passage thing, though. Anyway, I have not really encountered many wild bears in my day. I'm kind of grateful, honestly. But if you see it in your car, I guess it's a little bit better, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Stay tuned. We've got Live at 5 coming up right around the corner. We'll talk some college football. And LaWait continues. We will give you an update on that. Stay tuned. It's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
We all have routines. I'm Jabron, and with diabetes, mine was finger sticks. Sometimes I skip them because they hurt. The Freestyle Libre 3CGM changed that. It gives me glucose insights without finger sticks. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
Finger sticks are required if your glucose alarms or readings do not match symptoms, or when you see check blood glucose symbol for the first 12 hours. The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.